Eden Hazard thought that he was too good to fail.
I mean, Eden Hazard's the prime example of that. He was the worst trainer.
Was laziest football I've ever seen in my life.
But his natural talent couldn't save him, as he's been labelled as an absolute embarrassment in the eyes of many. To give a quick backstory on the type of player Hazard was, during his time at Lille, he was the best player in the league, yet a former teammate exposed his level of professionalism. We decided to go have a little drink that dragged on somewhat. The following morning, Eden was still drunk. That evening against Nancy, Eden has scored a hat-trick. This foreshadowed his career, a talented player who liked to have just a bit too much fun. The best example of this phenomena is his time with Chelsea, when he would go through all of the highs and lows of a football career. Starting off with his first controversy only a year after he signed for Chelsea. When playing the game against Swansea, Hazard got into it with the ball boy. Instead of walking away and getting another ball, Eden let his emotions get the better of him and he kicked the boy in the ribs. He got a red card and the whole country wanted him to face a further punishment. But if you ask Hazard, he would tell you that he would actually have preferred if the FA banned him a bit longer.
So me getting the red card, 3 games out, perfect. Stay home with the, you know?
However, in the eyes of many fans, this is what made him so good. He literally didn't care about anything. His only focus was putting a smile on Chelsea fans' faces and spending time with his family. In the next 5 seasons at Chelsea, he will become the undisputed best player in the league, winning 2 league titles and countless trophies along the way. Maybe if you're very young, you won't remember, but Hazard was constantly getting compared to the likes of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, with managers constantly praising the Belgian.
Giving the ball to Eden Hazard. Wow.
Switch on the TV, look at him, and you immediately realize his qualities.
I think the most interesting comment has to be from Jose Mourinho, because this comment will lead us to one of the only stains in his Chelsea career.
Match after match, he's being punished by opponents and he's not being protected by referees. Maybe one day we don't have Eden Hazard.
Hazard had a reputation for being a slow starter for each season, as he would enjoy his summer a bit too much and eat as much as he could. So when he came into the 2015-16 season a bit overweight, no one at the club was worried in the slightest, but it felt a bit different this time. He was slow, lethargic, and unfit, so the media started to pick up on this. Everything came to its climax during another game against Swansea. This time, Hazard went down with an injury towards the end of the game. During this period, Hazard never got injured, so naturally, the physio rushed him to the pitch to help him. But Mourinho didn't like this at all, as he didn't feel as if Hazard needed the treatment. This caused Mourinho to fire the physio, which derailed the season and led to Mourinho being sacked 3 months later. During these 3 months, Hazard grossly underperformed because of his lack of fitness, and the fans started to turn on him, with many seeing him as the reason their special one got the sack. He quickly changed their minds though, as he won another league title just a year later. But these first accusations of unprofessionalism was only the tip of the iceberg, because when he made his record £140 million move to Real Madrid, that was the only concern by the public. Hazard is great, but which Hazard will we see? The great Hazard who won Antonio Conte the title, or the Hazard who got Jose Mourinho sacked? This was always a problem for Eden, as he was now seen as an inconsistent player who could down tools at any time. And the doubters were right, because he was very poor at Real Madrid. But what was the real reason for this? Because it's very easy to say that it was all Hazard's fault. However, I'll give you both sides of the story and then you can come to your own conclusion. From Hazard's point of view, Real Madrid could have handled it a lot better, because behind Hazard's injury woes, there was a dark, untold side of the story. Initially after his injury, Real Madrid physios instructed Hazard to get an ankle surgery. He got the surgery with no problem, but over time it was clear that this would be a big issue. The doctors actually placed a metal plate inside of his ankle to help with the recovery process. This was done to keep everything as stable as possible so his ankle can heal in a timely manner. But Eden knew deep down that something wasn't right. He wasn't as smooth as he once was with the ball. Even fans started to recognize his poor form. So Eden took into his own hands and told the Real Madrid board that he needed to remove the metal plate, but they refused to listen to him. Throughout the whole rehab process, Hazard wasn't given the correct care needed to recover from such a bad injury.
If you want to know the real story, I went to Dallas to do the surgery on my ankle.
Okay.
Then I came back to Madrid and it was COVID.
Right.
You know, 2 months and a half COVID, me alone at home, no physio, to do the rehab.
Oh wow. It was a tough period for the whole world, and he even admits that he could have done better himself. But it was always going to be hard to recover without a physio alongside him. The metal plate caused him issues for over 2 years after his initial concerns before the club allowed him to get a second surgery to fix his ankle. However, by this time, it was already too late. He was now considered a flop by the fans and even by Toni Kroos. As he said this months after his departure, "I don't think Eden had a bad life. You can pity people who are clearly going through it worse. It's not about the money. I just haven't felt sorry for anyone in football. Everyone is to some extent responsible for their own situation." Kroos was just saying what the whole world was thinking, and even Hazard didn't hold a grudge for this.
Who cares what people say? So when Toni Kroos hints at something like that, does that even bother you? Do you give it any time of day?
No, he came to my house yesterday to pick up his kid. There's no problem with that.
That was the feeling at the time. Hazard was a very talented player, but he didn't do nearly enough to have a good career at Real Madrid. He came to the club overweight and was generally seen as a lazy player. Throughout his time at Real Madrid, he only scored 6 goals and got 7 assists. To put that in perspective, he scored 21 goals and got 17 assists in his final season with Chelsea. Real Madrid fans saw him as their savior who will reinvent the club after a poor spell without Cristiano Ronaldo. However, he was constantly outshined by the likes of Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo, who were almost 10 years younger than him. What made it even worse was his price tag. After the last Champions League win, Real Madrid had to pay Chelsea another €5 million for Hazard, which takes his total price up to €140 million, making him the most expensive player in their history. But the tragedies didn't end there, because in February 2024, Hazard will make a comment that would destroy his relationship with every single Real Madrid fan. In an interview for L'Equipe, Hazard said this: "Cristiano is a bigger player than me, but in terms of pure football, I honestly don't think so. Neymar, maybe. After that, he's no better than me." This caused a frenzy amongst the Real Madrid fanbase, and many used this comment to attack Hazard further for his lackluster career at Real Madrid. Their fans said that he was disrespecting the legendary player, and Hazard wasn't better than him at any point of his career. But how good was Eden Hazard? Because even though countless people tried to discredit his career, Hazard was still considered the best Premier League ringer of the 2010s era, and was the idol of many top players today. Mbappe, Rodrigo, and Hudson-Odoi are the best examples. He carried Chelsea to 2 league titles and won Lille the first league title in over 50 years. But he tarnished his legacy with his lack of discipline at Real Madrid. Chelsea fans love him, Real Madrid fans hate him, but we could all agree that a player of his talent should have had a better career.
Add something on top of that, I think Eden is one of the best players in Europe and one of the best players in the world.
He's you don't get many players like him. He's capable of magic at any moment.
I love Eden Hazard. I've got huge respect for him, of course. I hope he uses a bit more time to rest and make sure he's fully fit for the weekend.
Yeah, I think it's a good buy, but in football you never know.